Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another video. It's going to be a golf swing analysis for Loom State 914 submitted to the golf subreddit. If you enjoyed this video and find this helpful, please subscribe for more golf content and let me know any feedback down in the comments section below. Let's go ahead and watch this swing here. Alright, some nice movements here and also some things I think we can work on. So the comment was talking about whether or not he's still going over the top. Now, I will talk about swing plane, but I think there are other things to mention that are probably more maybe important or more that will be more impactful for you to help improve your golf swing. So, for starters, let's talk about setup. My first thought was that I think there's probably a little too much flex going on here in the lower body. What I mean by that is kind of at your knees and hips. Maybe we'd like to see this a little bit more relaxed. Typically what you want to see would be that the balls of the feet and then the kneecaps and then the armpit is kind of in line with one another. And if I draw a line from your armpit to your kneecap, it's kind of really going out to your toes. So if you would just straighten this a little bit, I think that would help you. And I think that we'll get into a secondary cause of that here in a second. So start with that. Then honestly, the first movements here are just very, very good. One thing that I would say that I notice is you have a pretty early left leg raise. I can't see it, but it just appears to me that even already your heel is probably already off the ground. I'm not really sure that's necessary, but there's nothing wrong with a left heel raise. I think that my bigger question is more to do with posture. And so if I kind of draw a line here from the center of your hips to your ear, if that's kind of where your spine is, you can see you kind of dip down a little bit, and then you get up and you actually raise up. So your spine posture is kind of all over the place here in the backswing, right? You're going from neutral, you're kind of flexing down where your head is coming down, and then at the top you go back up. And I think that would kind of be a concern to me, something to potentially improve upon that would really help you with consistency, because this is just a lot of micro movements to manage, and I really think, just trying to, one thing you could even do is try to go into a doorway and press your forehead onto the wall of the doorway and try to make a swing. Set up, and you set up as if you're looking at a golf ball, no club in your hands, nothing in your hands, just set up, press your head up against a doorway, and then try to make a swing and really try to keep that'll give you some feedback as far as how you're moving your head. And it's not so much that you need to keep your head perfectly still during the entire swing, but I would say that in the backswing, you just want to be a little bit more stable. Typically what happens for really good players is they have maybe just a very, very stable head in the backswing, if not maybe just a tiny bit of extension moving up. But this idea of kind of coming down and then up, I think that's going to create some inconsistency. So start with that. Then let's talk a little bit about this hip action right in here. Now, I don't have a problem with lifting the heel, right? Let's watch one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Nicklaus. If you watch some of these swings, you can see, if we pause, he definitely raises the heel quite a bit. Now, I can't see your swing from the face-on perspective, but if you'll notice, as he takes this backswing, you can see that knee really comes in and the heel raises. And you can see it's not just that he's raising it, but he's using that to drive his hips more open, and that allows his shoulders to become more open. And look at how big of a shoulder turn he's got. He's probably a little over 90 degrees. And that's really the important bit. So with your swing, I don't have a problem with lifting your heel. I think at this point, though, you're getting pretty, maybe a little bit excessive. And what I mean by that is, so when we get to right about here, you kind of your swing kind of pauses, and then your foot really extends under your toe to open up your hips, but your shoulders don't move along with it. It's just kind of isolated to this lower body area, right? So watch here. Okay, I'm going to draw a line where I see your shoulders are at, and then where your hips are at. And then I'm going to circle your knee. Now you can see, just even with this little movement here, kind of from about here to about here, there's a lot of movement in the heel, but it doesn't really pay off with anything as far as opening. I mean, your hip moves a little bit, but your shoulders aren't really turning any more open. And so I guess in my opinion, I think that is, again, maybe just going to lead to some inconsistency. And so I would kind of like to see, like I said, I don't have a problem if you want to lift your heel at this point, but if you've maxed out your shoulder turn, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with stopping a backswing here at about this position. I think this is part of why your head raises up, is because you try to keep turning a little bit, but just be willing to stop your backswing maybe at about this position. And then, I do think you have a little bit, there's almost like a pause, and you really see it if you watch the swing, kind of pause, okay, now I go. And I think that kind of pausing action right in here is going to kind of cause you to have a difficult time transitioning down and being smooth and really accomplishing some of the things you want to do. So, the movement of your downswing once you get going is actually quite good. I do not think you're coming over the top. In fact, I think you kind of have a decent shallowing movement where you can see the club head. If I draw a line on the club head, you can see it actually moves out, up and out. And then you come down. And at this position, if we draw a line from the golf ball to the club head, I mean, that's pretty solid right there as far as plane. So you got some nice open hips. You actually have done a pretty decent job. You're not really extending or anything. So I think a lot of my input would deal a little bit more with the setup posture, and then this kind of movement here in your transition, just to help maybe give you a little bit more consistency and smoothness, and make sure that all of your movements are efficient in being used to the end of striking the golf ball. So please let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Consider subscribing if this is interesting and you want to see more golf content like this, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, bye.